This program was previously recorded due to a due date. Please do not call in because operators are not standing by.
Save the ideas. Kind of like Greenpeace. And I'll let my YouTube friend introduce the idea concept for me. So let's watch him.
Tengo una idea que está buena con la que creo que podemos salvar a las ballenas. Es muy simple, mira. Agüita entre vos y yo, ¿ves? Ahí no me ves, ahí me ves. ¿Ves? Con el agua hago que vos no me veas. Bueno, lo mismo es lo que habría que hacer en el mar. En el mar, donde viven las balenas, ¿sí? En el mar donde viven las balenas, lo que yo quiero hacer es interponer agua entre la balena que es cazada por el balenero. Si el balenero ve la balena, la caza. Si el balenero no ve la balena, no la caza. Si el balenero no caza la balena vive en el mar, libre como debe ser.
So, as you can see, I think you get the point. No matter what the language, how important it is to save the ideas. Why save them? What we like to think about is, as entrepreneurs, we all have that entrepreneurial spirit in us. Ideas, I think, are the beginning of better. Better every day, better in every way. We always want to improve things, and ideas can do this. I also think that ideas are like currency. People want ideas. People perk up when you say, I've got an idea. And what we've found in our business is most of the time people will pay for them. And finally, it's creative fuel. I think it fuels our soul. It fuels our energy to come up with new ideas and look at things differently and improve them along the way. When we think of ideas being endangered, they are actually not endangered at birth. It's more at adolescence. People really love to say, hey, I've got an idea. Everyone perks up and sits around and listens. It's always interesting. So when they're born is not when they're in jeopardy. It's more down the road. And some of the reasons why is because of the audience. I mean, we've got human beings. They've got concerns, anxieties. We've got groupthink. People are skeptical. If only people would say, why not, instead of why. One of the things that I really believe is that conveying ideas and persuading people to buy in is truly a life skill. How many people do you know that have great ideas but can't get them activated, can't get them put in place, can't rally the support? And I think that's why we really consider it a life skill to make that transition and get that support. In the book, Buy In, Saving Your Good Idea from Getting Shot Down, they talk about it being a life skill and how to rally support. And two quick things when you think about getting support for your idea to keep in mind. Less info can yield more to rally. A lot of times what we try to do is think that we have to have all the answers, we have to have it all figured out, and really we don't. We want to just share it, get a little bit of reaction, get some feedback that will help us continue to tailor the idea. So not so much info, not all the answers. By doing that, you can actually disarm an audience. You can really say, I haven't got to that yet. I really haven't figured that out. I don't have all the answers up front. And then they will be more apt to listen to your idea and give good feedback versus shooting it down. One of the tactics that are recommended in the book is to invite the enemies. You want to invite them early. Which is against some of our better judgment. We want to have all the answers and bring a true plan, a pure plan that people can buy into. What they talk about is invite them early to get initial reaction. It will help you formulate the rest of your plan. It's much better than being defensive, and obviously the other recommendation is stay on the high ground. Don't get down in the mud. Don't debate things. The book also mentions idea killers, and we've all heard these, not just in our personal life, but maybe in Red Pepper or at a client's location. 4 idea killers: fear-mongering, delay, confusion, and ridicule. We've heard all of them. Really no need to go into them. In addition to some of the idea killers, the book talks about things that you can actually save or resuscitate your idea. So I call it 5 tips before idea CPR. There's 5. I'm gonna actually focus more on the last one, but I'll cover them quickly. Don't push out the troublemakers. Don't have some long-winded speech. Don't let it get personal, and don't hang up on one person, one dissenter. Then it really looks like it's combative and it's a one-on-one thing when it's really not. The last one I'll cover a little bit more is don't wing it. Prepare with stories and analogies of common sense. This is pretty much where most of us fall short, and I'll tell you why. Because it feels obvious to us. Because it's our idea, it's our baby, we think that, well, it makes sense. It makes sense to us, and it should make sense to everyone else. Well, it really doesn't, and it's up to us to prove it. One of the things that we don't do is paint the picture. Where we are in the process, it's taken possibly weeks, months, years to get there. Don't expect people to suddenly join you where you are on this idea timeline. Go back upstream, paint that picture, and take them through that process that you went through. Ideas could have no traction. Don't get frustrated about that. Make sure that by not winging it, you can actually explain some of that and cover those other disc profiles that are looking for more logical explanations rather than energy and passion. Don't revert to defense mechanisms. We always do this. It's just human nature. We get defensive and we shortcut some of the calm and the logic that we need to actually get this idea through some of these folks. And obviously the result, if you wing it, would be a true dead idea. One of the things that we always know is the other side is always going to have arguments. And what I'm going to go through on the next 2 slides are really arguments that we've all heard. Like I said, not just personally, but professionally. And I'm just going to buzz through them, and you'll probably get a good chuckle because you've heard these at some point in time when you've tried to pitch an idea. So here we go. We've been successful. Why change? Money will be the issue. You exaggerate the problem. You make it sound like we've been failing. We've been unsuccessful. You're abandoning our core values. Why do this? No one else does. It sounds too simplistic to be true. My favorite, we've tried that before and it didn't work. People will actually give you a compliment. Good idea, bad timing. Again, we can't afford this. It won't work here. We're different. You'll never convince Bob. What about, they always want to throw that little lob out there. And then another one we've heard a lot, well, we can't have it both ways. We can't do both of those. One common theme through all of these you've obviously recognized is words like but and not. It's just human nature. People are going to throw these things out there just to kind of CYA their role and their opinion. So fast forward 6 months, it doesn't work, and somebody says, see, told you so. So now that we've kind of been through a little bit of this and cleared the air about ideas and arguments, what I want to pitch to us is really something we could start at Red Pepper and maybe then later bring to our clients and even bring to our personal lives if it works. I want us to kind of imagine a place, a safe place, a place where ideas can live, ideas can flourish. They may not all survive, but it's a great place to start. And what I'd like to pitch is really a safe house, a place where people can bring ideas with total immunity. There's no judgment. There's some type of rules of engagement, but really nothing heavy. It's a place where people ask questions for understanding. You can select people to come to that place with you, give you feedback, give you reactions, and then you can expand that group later, maybe go from a small group to a large group. And what I'd really like to introduce and encourage us to do is create that place. And I liken it to people who grow plants. My mom has a greenhouse. So I really thought greenhouse would be a great name or a great place for us to come together and share those ideas. Things live in a greenhouse year-round. Things are protected from the elements, but they're also still somewhat exposed to the elements. So they've got their best chance of surviving in the greenhouse. Before I switch, I'll just kind of pitch this out there that if I have not even worked with the identity of this or a typesetting or anything. So if anybody wants to take a stab at it and it can actually have an identity here at Red Pepper, I think it would be great. I've used the term externally before, and it's kind of getting a little bit of traction. So I welcome anybody to take a stab at kind of creating a little bit of a mark for it if you like. Some of the advantages, I hope you can see that it has advantages. It's almost like the 6-hat process, that there's a defined stage and a defined time and a defined role for everyone. And I think that's some of the advantage in this concept. But some of the obvious ones are the idea parent, which would be you if you bring that idea, shares planned next steps and gets feedback. The idea parent gets skill feedback as well. And I think that's important. I think if we can come to a place where people can say, hey, Steph, that was a great idea. I would encourage you to do things this way when you share it with someone else. Or this kind of set me off a little bit. I don't know if I would say it that way. That's the type of feedback we want to give and we want to get when we're in this greenhouse. So what I'd like to just kind of leave you with is I would encourage you to try it. There's few rules. I don't think we overproduce this thing. I think we basically say, let's create some niceness guidelines that we can follow when people get together. I think there should be mandatory candor. If you're invited to that, you're expected to give detailed, specific, constructive feedback in a way that will help that person either improve their skill or move the idea forward. And finally, just true exploration of these types of sharings, these types of growing, and hopefully we can improve our life skill when we talk about ideas, because I think any idea we can come up with to save ideas is a good thing. So that's the concept of saving the ideas with a little bit of Red Pepper focus on the greenhouse. So hopefully you'll try it, you'll explore it, because I think any idea to save the ideas is worthwhile. Thank you.